Hey, Colabcoaching yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. It's week number 2 of the Real Love series. So excited to get into this week with you. Now, the question I have for you this week is, where does your love come from? Where does your love come from? Now, last week we talked about what does love mean to you. We're going to go deep into the source of your love. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because we all know or have some type of understanding what love is. As I said last week, love is an emotion, and we can tell if something is love or something is lust sometimes. The reason why I say sometimes is because it really just depends on where you got your source material from. Where did you get the source of your definition of love? Now, many of us, especially myself, we got a definition of love from maybe a family member, parents, brother, sister, loved ones, or someone that has taught you what love is. Maybe someone that you didn't grow up with, or a relationship or a friendship. And sometimes that definition doesn't necessarily mean that just because it came from a good person or maybe came from a bad person, it doesn't necessarily mean that that definition is correct. The reason why I say that is because things that we're taught from a younger age or things that we're taught in the past, sometimes we think that it's the end all be all. And we feel like just because we have that definition, then everything that happens in our life should be based on that definition. But I'm here to say that just because you were taught something doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Just because you were taught a certain way of what love is or what love looks like does not mean that that should be your definition of what love is. So we have to figure out, where is that source coming from? Where is that root knowledge of love coming from? Because it will determine how you see love going forward, how you have reacted in your past relationships with your family or your friends or your significant other, and it will be something that you teach on to future generations, maybe your children in the future, or your siblings, your younger siblings, or nephew, nieces, or people you mentor. So we have to basically break it down and recreate the definition of love if we know that that definition that was taught to you is not the type of love that you're looking for. And as I said last week, love is based on you. You define it. You're the one that's creating it. So you have to figure out that definition of love. And everybody's definition of love is different. We have to be okay with that. Just because your parents had one way of loving, just because maybe your mom or your dad had one way of loving, does not mean that that definition of love has to be from you. That definition of love maybe doesn't resonate with you. Maybe because that's what they knew and that's all that they were taught from their parents. But I'm here to say that you have the power today, and I mean today, to recreate that definition of love for you. But we have to break down what you were taught previously, because if you don't break down what you were taught previously, we as humans are creatures of habit. Once you have a routine, or you do certain things over and over again, that's all you're accustomed to. That's all you will know, and that's all you start to gravitate to. Now, for the people that feel like the love that they have from their parents was beautiful and genuine and was loving, that's great. That is great, and I commend you for that. But as I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that that love is what you prescribe to forever. Now, just because you were given some type of love doesn't mean that is the love that you create. I'll say it again. Just because you were given that type of love doesn't mean that's the love you create. You have to create exactly the type of love that you're looking for, as far as the language. Like, how do you give love? When you were with your parents, maybe they provided love through food. Maybe they provided love through shelter. Maybe they provided love through spending time with you or having conversations with you. But is that exactly the type of love that you need? Is that the type of love you need? Because when you're growing up, your parents are not mind readers. When you're growing up, the people in your life are not mind readers. When you're growing up, or you're going through relationships in the present day, the people that you're with are not mind readers. You have to show them and teach them exactly the way that you would like to be loved. And the problem that I see, that I actually have went through, is that just because you saw one way of doing things doesn't mean that it fits your life. Again, Just because you saw one way of doing things doesn't mean it fits your life or the life that you want to have. Just because someone was loving you in the way of providing you with shelter and food, not to say that it's not appreciated, but that doesn't mean that it resonates with the type of love of you needing touch. You needed to be held. You needed to be loved. You needing to be loved through holding or hugging or cuddling and things of that nature. Yes, those other ways of love was great for them and what they wanted to do and what they wanted to show you, but that doesn't mean it's right for you, and you have to be okay with that. You have to recreate that idea of love that you maybe have been accustomed to, because it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous because you may be walking around thinking that you're happy, but then you're not. You may be thinking that you're walking around that you are loved, but you're not really being fueled by the love that other people are giving to you. And the most dangerous thing of it all is that you may be thinking that you love yourself, but you're not truly loving the person that you're meant to be. You may be loving the person that people tell you you should be. You may be giving that energy to the person that people have created in their minds and they think that you should be living by, but you as an individual, you're walking day to day not truly happy. You're walking day to day not truly feeling loved, and you don't know why. It may be because of the way that you were taught of how love should be. And it becomes dangerous also when you're in relationships and you maybe have unfortunately been taught that in a negative way. Like, pain is love, abuse is love, hurt is love, physical altercations is love, yelling at each other is love, because that's what you were raised on and that's what you thought love should be. And you take that to your current relationships, you take that to your future relationships, you take that to dating, and you don't think that there's anything wrong with it because that's what you were accustomed to. But I'm here to say we have other options. There are other ways. So when it comes to the concept of you thinking, well, where does my love come from? And you're trying to figure out, well, where does my love come from? For me, I was loved in a certain way. I was loved that shelter and food is a love language. I was loved that I learned that love was something that was provided to you. But what about the love that you have to provide to yourself? What about the love that you're seeking? What about the love that you're hoping for and you're longing for? And yes, certain things that were given to you was something you had to be accustomed to, but you're grown now. You're now living your life. So now it's time for you to create the love that you're looking for. So you're looking at me and you're like, okay, well, where does my love come from? Your love has to come from you. Yes, you were taught certain ways of what love should look like from other examples in your family or previous relationships, but that doesn't define the love that you need. You have to figure out what the love you need is. And it may take you to the point where you have to recreate that type of love, understanding what love is, but it's better for you to figure out where your love comes from and the source, rather than you walking around living your life feeling loved because someone else taught you how love should be when you're not truly happy. Simple as that. So if you're looking at me and you're like, okay, I know I need help creating that love. I know I need help creating that love that I truly want. Go ahead and go to my website, yourcolabcoach.com. Go ahead and fill out that free relationship checklist. You'll not be disappointed. And sign up for that free 15-minute coaching session. That way we can figure out we're a good fit for each other. We can start working on this today. Share this with anyone that's struggling, that you may not be struggling, but you know somebody that's struggling to figure out what love is, and they keep making mistakes because they think they have a definition of love that's not really for them. And follow me on Facebook, Colab Coaching, Instagram, Colab Coaching. All my videos and series are on YouTube, Colab Coaching. Just type it in, like and subscribe so you don't miss on the next episode, next video, next series. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there.